Hello. We are back for another Love at First Right. And for those of you who may be watching this for the first time, I am Victoria Doherty, and I am historically a historical fiction writer and a vlogger who is endeavoring to write an epic series that is filled with romance and adventure and a bit of the paranormal and just all of these wonderful sort of mythological story elements that really stir me as a reader and certainly inspire me as a writer. And this is my vlog that just sort of helps me think out loud about those elements, and also hopefully brings in some of your thoughts as well, because I really love hearing from other writers and readers who reach out to me. So today I want to talk about beauty, which in a story is so much more than skin deep. Particularly, the beauty's role in mythology and in fairy tales and in really big stories, because certainly beauty is used in a variety of ways in stories. I mean, in noir, beauty is often used as a lure because, so often the beautiful woman is really bad on the inside and either leads the character basically off a cliff or almost does, and like in the case of Sam Spade, and he catches himself before she is able to do to him what she has done to so many other men. Beauty is also used as a source of empathy. There's a John O'Donohue book called Beauty, the Invisible Embrace. And in it, he talks about beauty as being the ultimate source of compassion and hope. And that it is the spark for our individual and collective imaginations and our only true tether to innocence. And when I read that, I couldn't help but think of Hans Christian Andersen stories, which I think have a terrible beauty to them, as do Grimm's fairy tales. Because, for instance, The Little Mermaid, okay? The Little Mermaid, which is one of my favorite fairy tales. And for those of you who have not read the Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid, it's quite different than the Disney version. In the Hans Christian Andersen version, you have this beautiful mermaid who wants so badly to be human because as a fish, she doesn't have a soul. And she falls in love with this young man. And she just, she wants to give everything to him, but he actually ends up falling in love with another woman. And so she sacrifices herself for him and for his happiness. And in return for her sacrifice, she gets a soul. And she becomes fully human in that she becomes one of God's creatures. She truly becomes a human being, a reflection of God. And I mean, certainly Hans Christian Andersen, this was a very Judeo-Christian God for him. So that is the beauty of the story. And God, it is just, if you read the Hans Christian Andersen version, you cannot walk away from it not feeling absolutely flooded with emotion. His story, The Little Matchgirl, is similar, and I highly recommend that, although I'm not going to get into it too deeply here. But as I've been writing my stories, I've been writing my Breath series, I have really been trying to look at beauty in this way. I have been trying to bring a depth and an innocence and an empathy to the way that I use beauty in the story, so that it's not just, oh, look, this girl is really beautiful, and isn't this guy handsome, and isn't it wonderful to watch them coming together. In fact, in my story, you have these two souls who are recurring souls. They are, they die and are reborn over and over again and must find each other in each of their lives, their true love. They must find their true love in each of their lives, but they are also attempting to together solve this greater mystery that, if they do not solve it, they risk losing one another forever. And, in one of, they're sort of in between when they're in between lives, so to speak, and one of the few times where they actually are able to connect as two souls in between lives. At one point, Nif says to her, Nif is the male protagonist, the hero, he says, I'm trying to understand why I always think you're so beautiful. No matter what, no matter who you are, you look remarkably similar to me. And she begins to reflect upon how when he said this, in their previous life, she had not been beautiful by any standard because she had had smallpox and there was hardly a part of her that wasn't scarred. And she was, sort of reflecting to herself about how when she is not beautiful by any stretch, he makes her feel like a thing of beauty. And when she has a face like the sun and that she is beautiful beyond measure, he makes her feel like she is so much more. And that to me is the essence of empathy and beauty, and it is the sort of the way that beauty can make you empathize with someone else, that you can see beauty in someone who is not beautiful, who is perhaps deformed, who is scarred, who has either internal or external scars, and yet to see the beauty in that person. And conversely, to see someone who is very beautiful, but to recognize that they have so much more than that to offer. And isn't that what we try to bring to our stories? Because that is, in effect, what we want for our own lives. And that is the way we want people to look at us, no matter what we look like, right? We want people to see the beauty of our humanity. So thank you. And boy, this is a big topic, so I wouldn't mind revisiting it sometime later on. I have 3 chapters of a breath novella, actually, which is part of this series as well, because I'm also writing a lot of, several novellas I'm going to write about some of the different lives that my lovers live together. And I have 3 chapters of one up on Patreon, which is actually up publicly. It's called Savage Island. And so I would love for you to go and have a read and take a look. And if you would like to become a patron, wonderful. If you just want to read the chapters, that is terrific too. And I also have those first 3 chapters up on Wattpad. So, and on my blog. So I would love for you to have a look. Thank you.